So me and my friend got into a discussion about skill-based matchmaking a little while ago. We kind of came up with some interesting thoughts and ideas and takes on the process on matchmaking, skill-based matchmaking, and you know just shared a bunch of ideas, and we came up with a really cool potential alternative to it. That I would like to share. Now, I can't share the audio because, unfortunately, it was a little too chaotic. My friend was constantly talking about other random nonsense, completely off topic, and sometimes he would be interrupting me when I'm making a point that really needs to be heard for the video's sake. And so I'm just gonna do a monologue instead. Because, yeah, it just, the audio would just, it wouldn't make sense. So yeah, we're gonna do it this way. So we were talking about two different types of matchmaking. The two general areas: skill-based matchmaking, and then everything that's not. Usually like connection-based, region-based, stuff like that. But it doesn't have any skill-based component. And we were talking about the problems that skill-based matchmaking has, and then what it also solves, because it does solve some problems. So it solves. So what does it solve first? We'll get to that. So it solves the problem of low-skilled players constantly getting bodied by high-skilled players, and high-skilled players doing the bodying of low-skilled players. And for the high-skilled players, that may be fun, but it does get dull after a while, especially when you know the match is already over in a minute of playing it out and just realizing, oh yeah, those guys don't know what they're doing. And then for the other side, just seeing the loss screen for like 100 times in a row or however much, it kind of sucks. So this is what skill-based matchmaking tries to solve. It tries to make it so that low-skilled players matchmake with other low-skilled players, high-skilled players matchmake with other high-skilled players. Now, it creates a couple of problems, though. High-skilled players, in that particular area, generally the gameplay tends to become more repetitive and stale because, as far as I can tell, every single game ever has had a meta, and there's always certain things that you want to use to make sure you have that greatest chance of success. And so what it ends up doing for the high skill players is everyone's using the meta stuff, everyone's playing the same way. Really the only difference is do some players have higher mechanical skill or some small aspect that can give them an edge, and then they'll end up probably winning, maybe, or maybe not. Sometimes it comes down to luck, even in some games. But the overall problem is for the high skilled region, the game gets boring because the game plays the same, more so than low skilled games. Because in low skilled areas, people may be using different things. They're not really playing towards the meta. Maybe playing in weird ways that aren't particularly efficient but might be fun, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of like the major issue for skill-based matchmaking. I take it a little bit further in our discussion, and I say, and I basically take the concept of skill and I hold it to a much higher value than fun. Now, I don't believe that anymore. You'll see why with what our compromise is for just matchmaking in general. But my initial take was, if you have high skill, you should be, you should be winning. Like you just should be. Like if you put in the time and effort to be good at a game, you should be winning all the time, or well, not all the time, but like more often than not. And then if you're bad at a game, you should be losing. Now, I admit games are made to be fun, right? And so if you're constantly losing, it's not usually it's not going to be fun for the person who's losing unless they have like some kind of like monk mentality and they can just take losses and still have fun. But eventually usually something like that breaks. So yeah. So I'm kind of beyond that concept, but it's just a more unorthodox take that I had when we were having that discussion. And so yeah, so that's kind of what we're talking about for skill-based matchmaking. And so now it comes to our solution, and I'm just gonna get straight to it. The solution that we came up with was just to take an RNG approach, really. And it sounds weird, but hear me out for a second. So you go in, you start matchmaking, the game rolls a dice. If it rolls one way, you get a very close match, and it's the skill gap between everyone is very narrow. And then other times you'll matchmake, and you'll just pull from anyone and everywhere in the population of the game at that point. And why do this? And the TLDR is, honestly, it just creates a varied experience from match to match. Sometimes you'll have very, very, very close matches, which is usually what's expected from skill-based matchmaking. And I just want to say, I haven't said this yet, those can be fun, even at the high level. It's just that them all the time can really, really grind your gears. Anyways, so sometimes you'll have some close matches, ones that were designed to be close from the matchmaking system, and then other times it's just the Wild West. It could be anything. You could be pitting little Timmy, who just got the game, with freaking Adderall pro player 42069XX, who has like 7 different pro teams that he leads, and Twitch streams 48 hours a day the game, and sometimes that Twitch gamer legend will be on little Timmy's team, and he'll have to carry little Timmy against a pro team. And it could be anything. It could be a stomp, it could be a weird stomp, it could be people using meta stuff. Some people are using meta stuff, some are not. Maybe someone who is like literally staring at a wall because they like the texture. And it creates some really weird experiences. And so yeah, you go from the idea is it just varies your any player's gameplay experience. You'll have close matches, sometimes you won't, and sometimes you will. And there's pros and cons to each one, right? So why not try and pull from both and create a more dynamic experience? And so that's kind of it. I don't know what else to say about it. I'd love to hear what other people think about it. And if you have your own thoughts, but yeah, that's about it. I don't know what else to say, so yeah.